Alright, so welcome everyone to lesson 03. Here in this lesson, we're going to talk about the simple creation process of our bag, which is basically a cement bag. And I also going to show you some my workflow, which I did that thing into the mud box to further accentuate that thing, and just want to create some more believability inside that. So first of all, let's get started with the process of creating the bag. So for that, I need a cuboid, and let's say we're going to mark the grid starting with the 3 grids followed by the 5 grids, length and width. Okay. And let's say I'm going to give a little bit of the thickness to it also. Here we can say under the channel box, let's open up the subdivision width to set that thing to the 30 and the subdivision depth set that thing to the 20. Why 30, why 20? The simple reason is that I want to maintain the quad topology. Maybe I can give that thing to 32. That's also going to be something good because quads for me are always going to be the best, the king, I can say. We're always going to win the game. Reason why? Because the predictability of the quad in under any circumstances of the deformations will always going to be beneficial to me. Okay. So now we're just going to delete the history, mark the center pivot, freeze transformations, all of that. And of course, it's at some distance. And now we can convert that thing to a piece of nCloth. Okay. Opening the attribute editor, first of all, going to the nucleus node, and first of all, switch the sub steps to approximately 6 by 6. The reason why I'm doing this because I want to extend the calculation study of the nucleus solver inside this calculations because 3 may gonna be a little bit less value. Okay, then now coming back to the space scale, which means that 1 unit of the Maya, which is the default, which is the centimeter, will gonna be equivalent when it comes to the calculation of nucleus dynamics 1 meter. That's really going to be huge. Okay, so it clearly means that 1 centimeter of the Maya default units will going to replicate the physics inside our process by considering 1 centimeter to 1 meter. So here you can see we followed 3 grid by 5 grids. That means 3 in the width and 5 in the length will gonna give me a calculation of 3 by 5 meters. That's really gonna be a huge, I can say. Okay, I think so that can cover almost 1/4 the area of the warehouse which I'm gonna make. That's really gonna be big much. So let's just keep that thing down to 1.100. Okay, and that's gonna solve my purpose. Now coming back to the nCloth shape, what we're gonna do is that first of all, let us see the size of the tiny vertices. Solver display self collision thickness. I guess they are perfect. Okay, if you still want to increase them a bit more, a bit less, you can always gonna play that thing with here. Okay, but in my case, I say 3. The default value is gonna perfect for me. Again, coming back, the dynamic properties, stretch resistance. Obviously, by the word resistance clearly indicates that something that's gonna restrict that. So stretch resistance here gonna mean is that it will going to restrict the motion of the stretchiness inside the cloth. And since it's not the cloth, it's a sack. It's basically a heavy bag, a bag which is made of a jute material or that will gonna keep up the cement particles inside it. So obviously going to be a little bit more heavier and less stretchy. So let's say 30 will going to be a good value. Not 30, I guess 50 should work fine for me. Compression resistance, again not going to get compressed, so 20. Bend, again 20. Bend angle drop off followed by 1, and shear resistance followed by 20. I guess bend and shear are completely apparent words. We're not going to give a discussion over it. Again, the rigidity, as clearly we can see that this cloth is not going to be a very light piece of a cloth. We're going to have some tightness, or you can say the rigidity inside the cloth. So 0.1, I guess, is going to be the good thing. The deform resistance, obviously I'm going to give value of 1 because I want the cloth to get less deformed as soon as it get under the influence of the calculations of the nucleus physics, nucleus solver, I'm sorry. Lift and drag are going to get that to 0. And the damp, of course, because I want the decrease in the velocity of this the sack with respect to the frames. Otherwise, it just keep on moving or keep on rotating on its own axis. And I don't want the influence of the gravity over here because I don't want that thing to get fall down. Now, here comes the main thing, the pressure. Because now you can imagine that we're going to create a sack, we're going to create a heavier piece of the bag which is already filled with the particles of the cement. So obviously we have to create the scene, or you can say the illusion, where the bag must have been filled up inside it. So the best way here to follow the approach of the pressure. So 10, I guess, with a value of 2 will should gonna work perfect. 1.5 I should say. Okay. Now, without any further ado, let's provide a blend simple material so that it could be easier for us to notice the changes in the geometry, and switch off the lights, switch off the grids, and just play the timeline. Oh, that's really gonna be cool so fast. Even I was imagining that it's gonna be a little bit further less than I was imagining, but that's gonna be a little bit cool, I guess. So guys, I believe so you must have got the idea. Now in case if you want your bag a little bit much more fluffier, puffier, of course you can reduce the stretch and again play the timeline back. Ah, that's really gonna be too much. But I guess it's also looking okay. Fine. No, I believe so you must have got the fair enough simple techniques to create the process of a bag. Now, as I was saying that, I just, in order to accentuate further, because here it's completely showing me a piece of, I think, a pillow. Why should I shy to say? Of course, it is looking like a pillow because we haven't added any other, the surface details of the bumps, or you can say the creases, or you can say the silhouettes, uh, the wrinkles, which a realistic bag could have. Okay, so let's just go to the mud box and see. Here is the outcome of our final bag that I actually got sculpted inside the mud box with approximately 1.5 millions of the polygons, and then extracting the normal map and using the normal map over it. And obviously there's going to be some diffuse painting also. I've manually painted some of the details to show the aging factor, and of course you can say some wear and tear, because that thing belongs to the warehouse where there is a heap of a bag providing pressure upon one another. Okay, and that's going to be our final bag which we're going to use inside the project. So I believe so you must have got the idea, and I think so now it's time to move to the next lesson.